GM everybody, how we doing this morning? Here with another slate breakdown. I am Nez with the Badge Bros. We're breaking down Underdog's main slate today. 30K in prizes, 4K to first, plus a bunch of other side contests as well. Let's break down the ADP landscape and the slate on the whole today. Let's just get right into it, guys. It's a big slate and it's a Coors slate. Once again, Mets at Coors. Kind of failed yesterday. Didn't really deliver the way that it was being drafted. So we have the discount on the Mets today. We're going to take advantage of that more likely than not. It's really easy to pair three really stud Mets hitters together today against Ryan Feltner. I have no fear of that matchup whatsoever. Let's just go game by game here. First, we have Reds against the Marlins. 8.5 run total here in Miami. 4.5 run total, we'll call it. 4 run total for Miami, which is a little higher than I would have thought. I mean, Andrew Abbott has his moments, but not a fantastic pitcher. But being in Miami, I thought this would be sub 4. So I don't know. Keep your eye on Xavier Edwards and Jake Berger because they're not going to get drafted today. So you could do a skinny with those two, in my opinion. On the Red side of things, though, Ellie is a top 3 pick today, and it's absolutely deserved. Ellie is on fire, and he's one of the best players in baseball. Hitting from the left side, we love Ellie De La Cruz. Stolen base upside, I mean, it's all there. You know who Ellie De La Cruz is. You know why he's a great pick, and he is a great pick today. I'm going to be taking him a decent amount. Sorry, my dog is underneath my desk, and he's trying to dig a hole through the carpet. Not going to happen, bud. As far as stacking Ellie goes, that's a conversation like all on its own. You don't need to stack Ellie necessarily. He's totally fine as a one-off because he does so much on his own. But if they are getting to Miami, obviously, then the stacking makes sense. And it's not all that common right now based on ADP. If I pull up ADP of the Reds, as you can see here, Ellie, Fraley, India, like it becomes very low drafted from this point on. So maybe doing like a Fraley, Steer, Friedel thing could be effective today because this is a pretty decent spot. Let's just jump quickly to the weather, just because I glossed over that. We do have a yellow orange on the Nationals game, which is kind of a bummer because we have Blake Snell going up against the Nationals and would love some Blake Snell today. But there's a lot of other really strong pitching options on the slate, and Blake Snell is priced up because he just threw a no hitter. So it's going to be hard to get to Snell as much as I would like to against these Nationals. But I'm going to let him fall because there's a lot of really strong options here, particularly in this Pittsburgh game. Padres at Pirates, light drizzle, not worrying about it, but we got winds coming in from left center. That is really bullish for Michael King. I'm not playing Marco Gonzalez. He's starting for the Pirates today. Don't care about that. But Michael King today has really high strikeout upside. Plus, he's getting help from the wind. The park is already tough to hit in. Michael King is going to be one of my highest drafted pitchers today, which is hard for me to say. You see, everyone knows I'm a big Pirates fan. It's just an undeniable spot, and he's available in the 5th and 6th round. So that's a no-brainer for me. Speaking of that game, it still is an 8-run total here, probably because Marco Gonzalez is on the mound, and there are some strong right-handed bats for the Padres. I don't really see a lot of Padres get drafted, which is really interesting because if it wasn't windy, I would probably be all over the Padres against Marco Gonzalez. Just an absolutely mid pitcher. I'm not going to call him terrible because he can suppress hard contact every now and then, but he's not good. He's straight up not good. And we have all of these righties: Machado, Profar, Bogarts, and then you can even throw in some lefties if you want. Campusano is having himself a nice second half, all just right here for the taking. We know for a fact they're not getting drafted often. It's great leverage. Just looking at this ADP makes me want more Padres than I currently have. Like, I have 57 players in the ranks, and I didn't even get there because I think, like most people, I see the weather, I see the wind howling in. It's not good for the righties with a lefty on the mound, absolutely, but Marco can still get hit hard, and the Pirates bullpen has just cost him so many games in the past week that it seems like a really good time to get some low owned right-handed Padres against a bad pitcher. Wind be damned. We saw the Wind yesterday not hold back the Twins and the Cubs in Wrigley. What's a little wind whenever you got barrels? Giants and Nationals. Here's that weather spot. Keep an eye on this weather because we would like to take some Giants lefties. We would like to take some Blake Snell. I am totally good on the Nationals. Blake Snell has been pitching like his Cy Young self for months now, and or maybe a month. And yeah, I'm just going to continue to ride that. And one thing that could go awry here is Blake Snell gets pulled from the start, and because of the weather, they put in a reliever, and then the Nationals tee off. That would be a bummer. I'm gonna wait to see if things look decent. If we get that orange label removed from this game, I will have Blake Snell quite a bit today against the Nationals. And I like these lefties for the Giants. There is some pinch hit risk if we get a lefty reliever on the mound, but I still like the Giants lefties today. Uh, they're not going to be highly drafted at all because we have a core slate, we have Phillies and and Dodgers. There's a lot that is getting in the way of this. This game is not on the slate. They are playing a doubleheader today, so we don't have to worry about the Yankees. Unfortunately, that'd be fun to get them against these Angels. They're probably going to go off today. Orioles and Blue Jays. This is a very fun matchup here. So we have Trevor Rogers versus Bowden Francis, two just not very good pitchers. Trevor Rogers is going to be better at home where he has Baltimore to help him out. But against the Blue Jays here, man, Vlad Guerrero, we talked about it yesterday on the live stream. Vlad is just on another planet right now, another level, whatever you want to call it. He is fucking shit up. And love me some Vlad today. He's a top 10 pick, so that's kind of tough. But nobody is stacking him. And I mean, for good reason, right? Who wants to stack the Blue Jays? Nobody. But doing a little Springer Schneider, and then maybe you do some Spencer Horvitz and somebody else in this lineup potentially. Let's see what the lineup looks like. And then we can kind of get an idea of where we want to stack. Rogers is not like dominating lefties this season by any means. So feel free to grab some lefties with your Vlad stack. When it comes to the Bowden Francis on the mound against the Orioles here, love the Orioles lefties. The Orioles, by the way, just signed JD Davis. How do they have room on their roster for JD Davis at this point? I just don't understand how they have the space for him, but apparently they do. He's not going to play today, but he's another cog in this machine. And boy, are they a well-oiled machine today. Gunner's being drafted highly as he should. So is Santander. So is Cowser. I love all of these lefties here. Jackson Holiday is having himself a really nice week here, and he was the number one prospect. He's a very good player. No reason to think that this is just like a flash in the pan. Maybe get some Jackson Holiday today. I want to prioritize Orioles today quite a bit because the field is just racing to get these Mets, and you can find some low-owned Orioles when they probably shouldn't be against Bowden Francis. This is going to be a good game. Probably like your number one leverage spot off of the Mets stuff right now. Brewers at Braves. We've got Chris Sale versus Freddie Peralta on the mound. Let me tell you guys, Freddie Peralta, I just will never, ever, ever get this dude right. Anytime that I draft him in dailies, he ends up blowing up on me. It's just absurd. I just simply, I can't get this dude right. I've accepted it. And today, watch him go off against the Braves. Just because that's what he does. In his last start, he went 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts against the Braves, actually, interestingly enough. We kind of talked about, hey, maybe Colin Ray, Braves seeing Colin Ray twice. Is that going to be a problem for Colin? And it was not. Colin Ray pitched a gem, and the Braves didn't do shit. But we've got a 4.48 implied run total for the Braves today. That's pretty solid. I don't foresee myself getting to Freddie Peralta, and I really don't see myself getting to Sale either because of the fact that there are really good pitching options later in these drafts. But let's think this through for a minute here. Chris Sale, lefty, he's very good, and it's going to be tough to get to the righties for the Brewers, but there's some really strong, like we like to say, double bubble leverage here for the Brewers because Chris Sale is going to be drafted so much and the Brewers will not be. You get leverage over the people that are drafting Chris Sale and leverage over the field because nobody's drafting the Brewers. I like the right-handed Brewers here. Um, to be quite honest, though, I don't know if I'll get to them very much, but I mean, Churio, Contreras, Adames, even Gary Sanchez with the power is interesting. Reese Hoskins with some power as well. It's interesting. I think I'll maybe do like one onslaught and then a couple skinnies here just for the leverage. For the Brewers, like I said, man, Freddie Peralta, I just can't get this dude right. But the Braves rather. I can't get Freddie Peralta right. The top of the Braves order is really strong. Let's just take a look at their ADPs. Just really, really easily drafted today, and just not being done. By Cardi, we'll get a little peek behind the back curtain there. Cardi has them like a middle of the pack stack today, so just some leverage because ownership in the player pool today for most people is going to be so incredibly concentrated that just getting if you're drafting at volume, getting a one-off onslaught of these teams is not a bad idea. 7.5 run total for Rays and Cardinals. I'm not overly interested in this game like at all. Taj Bradley's been on his game lately. Eric Fetty is just a good pitcher. I mean, professional pitcher, as we like to say. So it's hard for me to get to either of these games here, but Brandon Lau has some pop. As we know, Josh Lowe has some pop with some speed. Yandy can hit anybody. So it's evergreen that like, hey, don't count out the Rays, but like it's probably not needed. And for the Cardinals today, I'm not overly interested in them either. Really easy for me to just gnaw away the Cardinals more often than not, especially against Taj Bradley. These pitchers are fine in the sixth, by the way. I'm not excited to click them, but if I have to, I will, and it's totally fine. They're in a very good spot, as you can see, 7.5 run total. Bradley has way more K upside, but Fetty is a fine play in his own right. Let's just keep things moving here, guys. Red Sox against the Royals. This is a pretty interesting spot here. 4.56 implied run total for the Royals going up against Cutter Crawford, who's a pretty decent pitcher, just fine enough. But we obviously want Bobby Witt today, as we do basically every day. And you can get him with his, power hitting stack partners with Salvi and Vinny pretty easily. And I would definitely recommend doing that with maybe some Mets outfielders. We saw that do well yesterday with the Brewers infielders. You can do this Royal stuff really easily. Vinny, Salvi, just right there for the taking for you. And I think that's a pretty nice leverage spot against Cutter Crawford. For the Red Sox, though, going up against Cole Reagans is a very tough matchup. They're still flirting with a 4-run total here. I don't love the matchup here. I much prefer the Red Sox against right-handed pitching. This is definitely worrisome, but Reagans does get hit hard every now and then. I'm going to do a little bit of Red Sox. I just simply can't help myself. I think the Red Sox are just so underrated, and this is like a spot that nobody's going to want to touch. They can get to Reagans, man. They just can't. They're you just can't ever count out the Red Sox this season. It is what it is. They're awesome leverage today, but love Reagans. I don't think I'm going to be drafting a ton of Cole Reagans today. There's just like cheaper options that project just as well. We have a yellow here by the Roth meter, Mets and Rockies. It's not shying people away from the Rockies. What's shying people away or from the Mets is what I meant to say. People never like the Rockies even when they're in Colorado. So the Rockies, evergreen, great play today against Paul Blackburn, who I respect as a pitcher, but is not someone to fear at Coors Field at all. You see the implied run total here for the Rockies. They are great leverage, like they are every time they play a course. I'm going to have a good bit of Rockies today. For the Mets, though, people are shying away more than they were yesterday because they bricked yesterday. Didn't really have that great of a game, but going up against Ryan Feltner today has me excited. Give me Nimmo 101 for the Reds, for the Mets. Sorry, not overall. As far as the Mets go, I like Brandon Nimmo the most, then Lindor, then Martinez, then Alonso, then Winker, and Vientos. So I'm going to be stacking this game up and down. I'll even get to some Jeff McNeil as well. Feeling pretty good about that. And then for the Rockies, it's kind of the same thing as yesterday. We have another righty on the mound. I'm going to be getting to him. I hate drafting Charlie Blackmon, but Ryan McMahon, yes, sir. Michael Tolia, yes, sir. Brenton Doyle all the time. So yeah, the Rockies, if they're going to continue to be overlooked, I'm going to continue to draft them. It's that simple for me. Okay, moving right along here. Tigers, Mariners. What a hilarious game. We've got one of the worst parks for offense in Seattle against Scooball and George Kirby. And man, this is just a hilarious matchup here. I love Scooball today. Obviously, everybody does. He's very expensive though. And let me just I've been kind of teasing talking about this, but Scooball SP3 is awesome, right? This is actually kind of a smash, kind of a smash. But the problem is Cole Reagan's is SP8, Bradley's SP7, Michael King SP5, and they're all just whenever you want them, you got them. I will definitely, and I'm probably not alone here. When I'm purposefully deviating in my stacks, getting something that's going to be low owned, a lot of, pick 30 plus players, then I will opt for Blake Snell and Scooball for sure. But it's kind of tough whenever I have these very appealing targets above them. Let's go back to the lineup here. Yeah, I mean, it's just really hard to find appeal here. Straight up, I mean, maybe a Dylan Moore, Randy Rosarina skinny, if you really want to get cute, but I just can't imagine that it matters. So for me, pitching only, prefer Kirby at cost, but obviously love Scooball. Okay, last game. Just keeping things moving here. Phillies at Dodgers. Two right-handers on the mound, a 9-run total, pretty nice considering the slate. And yeah, Gavin Stone is a fine pitcher. I'm going to be attacking with Schwarber and Harper today a good bit. Schwarber's pretty priced up, ADP 11. You do got to go out and get him, but I think it's worth it when you can do him and Harper pretty easily. I do like Trey Turner as well. Hasn't been going too well as of late, but I do like Trey Turner today too in there. I think my preference is going to be Schwarber and Harper skinnies today, but yeah, I'll try to get my way down to Alec Boehm, Real Muto, and Marsh as well here, just because I think they can really jump on Gavin Stone today. And I think the Dodgers can attack Tyler Phillips as well. Just a rookie, having himself a nice start to the season, but it's the Dodgers in LA, man. I'm not so certain that we see Will Smith today. That would definitely be a question mark for me. Tomorrow, let's see if the Dodgers are playing, and they're not. The Dodgers have an off day tomorrow, so okay, that makes me feel better about Will Smith playing today. Top of this Dodgers lineup is a great stack. You can remove one and just do a 3 with a 2 or a 3 and a 2 one-offs, but very much into the top of this order today for the Dodgers. No thank you on both of these pitching options for me today. Let's jump over to the underdog tab here. As far as Dodgers go, Shohei 101 today, but Freeman, you can get all of these guys though. So You can easily stack up the Dodgers. The toughest stack today, though, is the Mets. But the thing is, they go at the end of the first, so you could easily push them up to 101 and try to get as many as you can on the 2-3 turn. Probably not a bad idea. You could do it with whoever you want. You could play the ADP game and go Alonso first, but I like Lindor and Nimmo today over Alonso personally. It's just like not Alonso's best season. Coors is not necessarily great for home runs. It's much better for extra bases and just putting bat on ball. Still benefits Alonso, of course, but like I like Lindor and Nimmo more today. It'll be interesting to see. Alvarez should be in the lineup. He was not in yesterday. Vientos will be like a question mark. I would assume that he plays, and Jeff McNeil I think is a pretty sharp play as well. Hasn't had like a great season, but I think McNeil as a lefty today can make some noise. He's probably going to be definitely going to be drafted the least out of all of these Mets, and still is in the same beneficial run environment. So just some nice leverage there, in my opinion. Some players that I like today in a vacuum. Let's just like scroll down toward the end of this and see. I think the Giants are definitely an interesting play today against Jake Irvin. We'll want to keep checking on that weather, see how things look there, but that is definitely appealing. Some of these low owned Orioles as well today, I think is very, very appealing. I need to like kind of think about my preferred build here. I did some drafts, and not all of my drafts today were great. So kind of ignore these top ones that are just this one's okay, but it's a little weird. Here's one where I did a Doyle Tolia, a 2-2-1 with Vlad. I can see myself doing a lot of Vlad one offs today. He's definitely like my favorite bat in isolation. I submitted a pick'em already because we do have a special in the lobby for the Olympics, and I did Asia Wilson paired with Vlad home run for 10 to win 105. Vlad, I think, is like my favorite one off today, just on an absolute tear. And going up against Trevor Rogers, they're just like, isn't a lot of reason to be afraid of him, man. He's one of the best hitters in baseball with an extremely favorable matchup. I am very much into him today. Let's just hop in a draft. We'll get one draft in on the show here, so we can get an idea of what the lobbies are looking like today. As far as projections go, just to give you an idea, obviously, uh, for Derek Carty and the Bat, big fans of the Coors game. He has the Rockies though as just as nice of a play as the Mets, which is pretty interesting because the field clearly does not see it that way. He's also a fan of Dodgers, Phillies, and Orioles, right underneath that, and then pretty into Braves, Royals, and Red Sox. Obviously, Mariners and Tigers for him are dead last. Right above them are Cardinals and Rays. That doesn't mean that those teams cannot be played. It's just the fact that they clearly are the least favorable spots today. Anybody can. Okay, we got the draft going here. Shohei going 101, which is what I would expect. It might take a little bit later in the day for people to get cute on that, but you're going to see Shohei 101 almost all day. Like, I really do think that the top three, very much set in stone. But a guy like me, I take notice of how quickly outfield goes, and when it goes Nimmo, Schwarber, Santander, Fitzgerald, obviously like just having an awesome year right now. But we got weather there is a little concerning. JD, like look at how quickly outfield dissipates. This is why Shohei is the 101, and it totally makes sense. I've got the pitchers here on my screen just so I don't lose sight of them. Yeah, we're gonna go Brandon Nimmo. He's at Coors. Outfield gets thin. Let's pair him up with Lindor if we can. JD Martinez goes, that doesn't deter me from taking Lindor. Still love Lindor, and we'll do a little something like that. Keep an eye on what these guys are going to do stack wise, because I think what you are going to see is a lot of this, like Blake Snell. You can wait on the stack here. Okay, we see Schwarber go mostly because of the outfield scarcity, but you can also do Schwarber, Gunnar, Schwarber, Harper very easily. Ellie going with Alonso. Like, you are going to see people try to get these Mets early and often. It makes sense. Dodger stack being built at the 101. You would expect to see that. I'm kind of surprised Luke Big Shots went Santander there, but it's the outfield scarcity thing. But I'm sure the three hole is a little upset he didn't get Santander. Vlad goes. That would have been such a insane fall for us, but unfortunately we don't get that. We don't need a pitcher because this guy has a pitcher. I do love Bryce Harper today. We can also do Winker and Vientos. I'm going to do Bryce Harper. Very much into him in this matchup. He finally hit a home run the other day, but he has not been playing super well so far, coming back from his injury. I think he's going to get there. Okay, we are looking at Kirby or Michael King. These two guys both need pitching. I think we're going to go George Kirby. The run total sub 3 for Detroit is just insane. Kirby is a great pitcher. Um, I'm okay with taking a pitcher in round 4 that I think has the chance to have the highest score on the slate. It's totally fine for me. For pitching, that is. Highest score for pitching. Let's think how we're going to finish off this team here. So we have our Mets in the queue. We mentioned Dodgers, but we don't have a Dodger stat going. Mentioned the Reds, but doing Reds without Ellie, that does seem kind of like interesting. Like, what if Ellie fails and the other Reds go off? I think that's a little cute. What does interest me, though, is Trey Turner. Brandon Marsh just doesn't have like a huge ceiling, but interesting discussion for these other Phillies here. Just like if we're going to do the stack, it's a decent hitting environment. We're just going to throw them in the queue. I could do the Rockies as well. There is a chance that this is just a back and forth game. That is not improbable. It feels weird. I can't explain it. It just feels kind of weird to take a two double stacks in the same game from opposite teams. It just feels strange for whatever reason. But if this game goes to extras, then it's even more valuable. Okay, we are looking at just kind of checking out what's going on in the player pool here. Okay, we're gonna go Winker. Winker's a good hitter, facing a righty today. Should be able to do damage before he gets lifted, if he does get lifted at all. We'll play that game. Okay, so here's that Padres stuff I was talking about, man. Seedmeister's a good player. I can totally understand him getting to them today. And then for our last pick, we lost Trey Turner, but Alec Boehm is a very, very solid hitter as well. We'll take Boehm today. Finish with a 3-2 stack with George Kirby at pitching. So Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Lindor, Jesse Winker for the Mets stack. Finish with a Bryce Harper, Alec Boehm double. I'm into it. I like both these teams quite a bit today. I think my plan is to just draft as many of these Mets stack that I feel comfortable with, pairing them with different teams so I can have a pretty solid exposure around my favorite Mets because I can get them so easily today, and then do some stronger deviations as I go along. We saw Seedmeister do the Padres thing. I'll probably do that. I didn't talk about the Pirates today. I just don't think that they're in a very good spot. I will wait and see if O'Neal Cruz is in the lineup before I do anything. Because he was not in yesterday with an illness, he might not be in today either. Just keep an eye out on that one. But yeah, I'm going to draft some more Rockies as well here. I didn't do that in this draft, but definitely, as you can see, just like not drafted at all. That's a mistake by the field. So good luck today if you're playing. There's a lot of other contests other than the main. If you are interested in dipping your toes in some smaller contests, please like the video. I do appreciate you guys watching. If you are here to get some strategy, if you're new, please subscribe. It helps us out. I think you'll like our content. We cover Underdog daily, literally daily, for all of the daily contests. It's baseball season, so we're crushing baseball. We cover basketball. We cover NFL. We do it all, man. So get in here, get in these contests. There's a lot of cash up for grabs. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in a few.